Bring 500, 5,000 fokata 10,000 liters. Plumbing fittings fanan be mol bulle. Alsimol tarano Sukuta Highway Mariama Kunda Johnson. Walla isimol kubandi 505-5691-796-8272. One Stop Water Limited Solutions. Inata leka jikuo be sonende Gambia Banko.
Hello, good morning. You're watching QTV this morning. I am Ibrahim Abalde, commonly called the VJ. We are back again in the studios and it's another morning. Well, VJ simply means veteran journalist. And I am with my colleague Eso Nyasi. Welcome to the program. Brother, it's good to see you here.
Thank you, Amin Balde. Thank you. Good to be back on this platform. And yes, as always, I am all fired up this morning again.
Exactly. So it's going to be a very interesting session in the studio as we have our own Ade Drame who will be reviewing the newspaper with us.
I like how you say that, our own.
Our own Ade Drame. It's our own. I mean, we are proud of Ade. Especially if you go out there when people tell you, I mean, this Ade Drame, who is he? You know, you are always proud, I mean, to tell them, look, this is my boss.
Who is he? I ask myself that question every morning, who am I?
Exactly. So do you find answers to that?
I still haven't found the answer.
Well, anyway, for us, we try to form something to give to the public that this is Ade Drame for you. I mean, it's good to have you, Mr. Ade. Welcome to this platform.
Always good to be here. Do I call you both the VJ and the amazing host today?
VJ.
Because you're not co-host today.
Well,
the amazing host.
No, I think recently, I mean, VJ is taking over. I think people are getting used to the VJ. So let's keep the VJ
keep it
going.
VJ.
Yes. Cool. Well, today, tonight, wow, I wanted to say tonight, but don't worry, it happens everywhere. We'll be looking at the African proverb, and of course, we'll do the newspaper review. As I said, I mean, we have Mr. Ade Drame here. On social issues, we'll look at price control. We'll be having Boubacar MCC, Director of Competition, Gambia Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, and of course, Mr. Malik Jallo, young economist, and we'll also have what we call the click segment. Buba Fati will be here with Lady Lena. Then we'll wrap up. And first of all, we'll go look at our African proverb.
Indeed, so our proverb this morning, you know, I'm not really good at interpreting proverbs, but this is an interesting one.
Only Jennifer Sonko is, I keep saying.
So it reads, even the lion, the king of the forest, protects himself against flies.
Yeah, even the lion protects himself against flies.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I have just a little interpretation. I don't know whether I'll get it right or not. This tells me, I mean, we share certain things, whether it is the king or it is any other person. We share certain things. I mean, let's take a good look at the call of nature. Let's take a look at certain things. These are things that we share. I mean, whether you are a king or not, I mean, when the call of nature comes, you must answer.
That's
okay,
right.
so let me attend this one. So for me, my understanding of this one is you must always prepare yourself, either for whatever eventualities or, you know, you must not be too comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, I lean more towards the VJ's interpretation in the sense that no matter how great you are, you know, in some other societies they say that a mosquito will bite even a king. So nature has a way of you know, it doesn't pay regard to your rank. There are certain things, whether you're a king or you're a pauper, one day you will die. Similarly, you know, whether you're a lion, king of the jungle, or you're the lowest animal in the jungle, flies they will bother you.
Absolutely.
So, yes, I think it's the kind of, there are certain things that nature is the great equalizer.
True. Well, I think that's true. It's important. Sometimes, Mr. Ade, there are proverbs that makes a great sense, but some are there, you cannot even figure out what they really mean. I mean, you struggle a lot to understand certain things. But I think this one is just a direct one. We all have things that we share, no matter what. Yes, we have things that we share.
I think so.
Well, I think we agree on this one.
And what's good about it is they always make us scratch our heads or crack our brains, as
Exactly.
we say, which is good. It's good.
I love proverbs.
I love it. Yeah.
They are very good because sometimes they guide you. I mean, some proverbs guide you, but some proverbs too are aggressive. I mean, I think they try to, I mean, push you to do certain things.
Some of them are a warning to you, and they admonish you sometimes. They stop you from doing things as well as push you towards doing things. So there are both sides of that. Yes. Yeah.
Thank you very much for that interpretation of the African proverb. You're watching QTV this morning. I am Ibrahim Abalde, and of course the program is officially sponsored by One Stop Water Solutions for all your water dispensers and of course filters. Sultan Consulting also are part of this sponsors of this program, and of course any type of IT you want. I mean, I will give their numbers later for you to call on this program if you want to go and be part of the IT training course they're doing. What we'll do, we'll take a short break. After the break, then the newspaper review. We'll be back.
Begin your SUV life. S-Pass Motors, the new authorized dealer for Kia. Visit us today or call us on 3522-222, 353-2222.
Thank you very much for joining us. This is QTV This Morning. I am Ibrahim Abalde and I am with my colleague today, Ansumana Eso Nyasi. And we'll go straight to what we call the newspaper review. I mean, to look at some of the news that are making headline on our papers. And we'll start with Foria, Ansumana.
All right, so on the Foria newspaper this morning, we go through the headlines quickly. It says, PAG holds post-election reflection session for domestic observers. Man urges government to solve water problem in Sotokoi. Commercial drivers want stable fuel price. Physically challenged man solicits.
General Sol Baji and 2 others released. We also have Higher Education Ministry to transform Gambia College to Teachers Education University. Senegal welcomes home Nation Cup heroes after historic victory. And of course, VP hails Gambia's election to PSC. Once again, welcome. It's QTV This Morning. And let's start with water shortage. I mean, let's take a look at some.
And actually,
yeah.
All right, I think this was yesterday's. So, yeah, water shortage. I mean, I think this is one problem that needs serious attention.
You know, I was aware that during the presidential election, some of the candidates went around and some of what they were promising various villages and towns was to alleviate their water shortage problems. And since I've come to the country, I've become aware, and certainly at QTV, the number of people, including one that we're going to be covering tomorrow, a village saying that, you know, we have been using a well, we want a borehole so that we can get clean drinking water. When you see the filthy water that people have to, because they have no choice, deal with in terms of, you know, boiling it before they can drink it, and using effectively dirty water to wash their clothes. It's kind of scandalous, really, that there are so many places where this is a problem. And this is just one of, there could be 100 of these that we could feature. I mean, if we wanted, we could feature one every day from now to the end of the year, and we wouldn't run out. And you know, really something needs to be done about it. And as I said, during the election, some of the candidates were promising individual villages that, you know, we'll make sure you get a borehole and so on. They're not that expensive, really. And so, really, I think the promise that, you know, government, central and local government should make to everybody is that where there's a well, we will try and replace that with a borehole. And I think this will help to solve the problem. But there needs to be a coordinated effort
it's
to do
really
it.
sad.
It's sad. It's sad.
And I mean, I think for me, as you said, it's scandalous that in this day and age, you know, we have, you know, for a country as small as ours, people are still struggling to
and that's the point I always make.
have access to clean water, especially for drinking, and you know. You look at, in fact, where this village is situated. It's in Combo East, very close to Banjul, really. I mean, not far from Brikama.
And even when you think about it, that, you know, when it's the rain season and the rains are quite heavy, we don't even do things like rain harvesting, you know, somewhere where you can collect the rainwater that can then be used. We don't even do that. So, you know, there's so many things we could be doing. They're not, it's not rocket science, and it's not going to cost billions of dollars to come up with these solutions, and yet, you know, here we are. As I said, literally we could do a story every day if we wanted to on QTV.
And you know, Sotoko is, I mean, I know Sotoko, it's one of those biggest settlements within Combo East.
Right.
You know,
so
it's a very famous settlement.
Yeah,
Right.
I think it needs serious attention, and I hope that authorities are listening, and even philanthropists as well. I mean, anyone who could help really should try and you know, help the people of Sotoko. I mean, this is a problem that is, I mean, you can find it almost all over the country.
Everywhere. And the good thing, the most serious thing about it is that, I mean, like you mentioned, they will promise you a whole lot of stuff, and you give them their votes. At the end of the time, they forget about you.
Yeah.
Totally.
Well, this is the sad thing, because what I'm hoping for is that for those politicians who made the promise, even if they didn't win, I hope they will keep their promise. And maybe if they did that, that will garner them votes next time when they go for, because people say, oh, this is somebody who keeps their promise. So, you know, it's in their own interest as well.
Okay, I mean, clean drinking water is very important, especially
it's stuff of life. It's the stuff of life.
Yeah, like they say, water is life.
Exactly. So, any other thing?
Yeah, I mean,
let's move to the...
Yeah, one of the headlines that really caught my attention this morning is commercial drivers want stable fuel price.
Yeah, here we are back again talking about price control and so on. And you know what's interesting is, as I was coming in this morning, I was listening to the BBC News, and people in England were complaining fuel prices are going to go up by 50%. I thought it was a mistake until I listened to the rest of the story, but they're going up by 50%. And this is at a time when BP, British Petroleum, on the same day, they announced that they had just made a profit of $13 billion. $13 billion profit.
So they're making huge profit.
Yeah, I mean, in
at a time when people are complaining about fuel
and they were saying that in the last quarter alone, they made 3.4 billion. I beg your pardon, $3.4 billion profit in just one quarter. Even the chairman of BP said that this was just mind-blowing.
Absolutely.
But there you are. And so in the same day, on the same day that they're announcing this, you know, you're hearing about, you know, fuel prices. Of course, we're not an oil-producing country, so we're at the mercy of others. So when people talk about stabilizing oil prices or bringing them down, it's not so easy, because we have to import all of it. You know, until and unless we become an oil-producing nation. And the sad thing about it is, we might never become an oil-producing nation, because the world is trying to move away from fossil fuels, like oil. So just at a time when it could be a game changer for the Gambia, the rest of the world is saying, let's stop using petrol, let's go to green, clean energy. So by the time the drilling is done off the coast of Gambia, or they're about to start, BP or Shell or whomever, the rest of the world might be saying, no, don't do this, this is you know, harmful to the planet. So we're in a real bind.
Well, that's
but for now, the commercial drivers, I'm sorry, I think they might have to just wait about, you know, price stability, which is what they're asking for. I don't think it's coming anytime soon, unfortunately.
My only fear now is, I mean, I just hope they don't increase the transport fares again, because they've done that.
Which is
I
what
mean,
they'll do.
there was this several meetings they had with government. We remember the last time.
That's right.
And even though, I mean, the official version says 8, some are charging 10, and it's almost 10 now. So with this, this sounds more like a warning to me.
Well, yes,
you know, if the prices don't come down, we might increase again. And
Yeah.
you know, it's really going to be a very difficult situation for passengers.
Well, I mean, fuel, it's a problem. I mean, all the time we see the increment. And let's take a look at the dangers it is causing our environment, especially pollution.
Yeah.
Let's talk about renewable energy. Let's talk about electric cars. I mean, I can see other countries are moving to that system.
Yes, I mean, I think for electric cars, they need somewhere to charge them.
Yeah.
And so in the countries where they have electric cars, there are charging points all along the roads and so on. We can't even get decent electricity in our homes, let alone for our cars. So forget about it for any time soon. But in terms of renewable energy, cleaner energy, and they're going to call me the Cape Verde ambassador again. But in 3 years' time, Cape Verde will be 100% reliant on wind and solar energy. 100%. It will be the first country in the world to do that. They are neighbors. Why can't we be thinking about that? Why can't we be doing that? So we need to be creative in our thinking, and we shouldn't just always just keep following. Just go next door to Cape Verde. It's 600 kilometers away, and ask them how come you're going to do it by 2025, and we're not even thinking about it when we should be thinking. Look at all the sun we get. Let's harness it.
Absolutely.
For solar pumps. You go to some of the villages where they have solar-powered pumps for the village. I remember in Sintet. The one they have there. Waters the garden, waters the whole village. The pump that they have there, and
Mr. Ade, sometimes people tend to people say a whole lot of stuff about Gambia. I mean, we are a small country, we don't have certain things. Gambia wouldn't be easy to be developed. I think Gambia, we have certain things that we can use. But the only thing is the mindset. I mean, how people are.
I'm boiling right now. It's a lack of foresight, and I'll tell you why. Yesterday I posted on Twitter, and it got reaction from some people. Some people called me. I put a screenshot, and it said, "This site cannot be accessed," or something like that. And I said, "This is the most frequently accessed website, government website in the Gambia." And the reason I did that, I got fed up. And they can quote me on this. You go to about 10 of our government ministries' websites, their websites are not working.
All down.
Sometimes you can see their updates have been many years ago.
All down. Look, I mean, and I'll name them. Ministry of Justice. Your last update was June 2020.
Can you imagine? Justice Ministry.
How serious can you be?
Yeah. And they don't respond to emails as well. Almost, all our ministries.
Tourism Board used to have this gogambia.com.
Yeah.
Doesn't even work anymore. You go on their Facebook page, the website they have, doesn't even work. I mean, they're not serious. So it's lack of foresight that is actually stopping us from doing some of the things. It's not that these things are difficult, and somebody will write an official email to you from a government department, and it's a Gmail. It's not .gov.gm, which is what it should be. All that needs a shake-up. And really, doesn't cost money. You just need somebody to go through them and say, these are the things we need to put in place. And I get fed up with it because they're so easy to do. Why are we not doing them? And
they are very good at initiating something, but being consistent to follow it, it's the problem. I mean, most of these people will come sit here and tell you, we have this toll number, we have this and that and that and that, but at the end of the time, just give them few months. If you come, it won't be working anymore.
Not even few months.
And
they'll sit here and tell you, we will work on it, we are working on it.
And part of it for me is, and this is where I blame civil society organizations, because they are amongst the more organized sort of institutions in this country. Because we don't live in a country where the citizens are mobilized enough to complain enough. But if this was in England or in America, 8 government websites not working, trust me, they will hear about it, and they will hear about it loudly. It's a scandal, really. What do they think? They think a website is a luxury? No, it's your portal to the world. If I want to find out about
you sitting here and talking about website, while the School of Midwives in Bansang have been shut down and the students are sent home. Can you imagine, because of food supply?
I saw the thing, and they said that 20,000 had been given, and as one of them said, how far will 20,000 go towards feeding us? So there are things that we need to address.
And that's the school where we're breeding the next
Thank you.
I mean,
yeah, and you know, and we complain,
nurses.
including people like me. I complain when people come here and recruit our nurses to go and work in America, in the United Kingdom, in Scandinavia. You know, but who can blame them? Who can blame them if they go somewhere where they know they're going to get paid?
I have this friend. I mean, we were together in high school. I mean, he was sent on government scholarship to Venezuela. He went to study for 7 years. Then he went to the US. He came back to the country. When he was coming back to this country, he said to me, "Boy, I got a job in the US. I mean, in one of their hospitals."
Yeah.
He said he will be coming back to Gambia to give back to his community. I personally told him, "Boy, I hope this is a good decision for you." I don't know how people will see me.
You know,
but I know what his colleagues are suffering here from.
Yeah.
So he came back to this country. I think he spent 5 months and he went back to the US. He's still there now.
You get that. I mean, but the thing about giving back to your country, I can understand why people feel the need to do it. I mean, there's a group in the United Kingdom called TOSHPA, the Organization of Sierra Leonean Health Professionals Abroad, long name. And what they do is they're all trained as nurses or doctors in Sierra Leone, and they now work in the United Kingdom. Every year, they take 4 to 6 weeks. They go back and they work in the hospitals and clinics in Sierra Leone for free. They even pay their own fare, everything. They pay the accommodation when they're in Sierra Leone, and it's their way of giving back.
Yeah.
Because they know that, yes, you know, we're now working in the United Kingdom, but this is, Sierra Leone trained us, and we kind of feel disloyal that we've now, you know, we need something similar. And so people like your friend, we should encourage them, but sometimes people get disheartened and dispirited by what they meet on the ground when they go. It's not always easy.
This guy said to me, "Boy, you'll see a patient dying because of a particular drug, and you know,
And
when this guy
small.
got this drug, he will be safe."
Yeah, go ahead.
And you see him dying in the hospital.
You know, for me, Balde, I think it's about foresight, it's about attitudinal change and a change of mindset and seriousness, for that matter. It's really sad, you know. Sometimes, you know, things happen and then you need to talk to maybe a certain permanent secretary or reach out to some senior official within a particular government ministry. You call and they hardly pick calls.
Communication
Even
problem.
if they pick and they'll tell you we'll get back to you, hardly do you hear from them again. If you go to them personally to say, I need to speak to this PS, maybe someone, it takes like ages before they even respond to you.
The bureaucracy.
The websites don't work, they don't respond to emails. It's just sad.
It's and I don't even know why that culture has persisted. Because when they write to us, you know that we get letters on a daily basis saying, come and cover this event. At the bottom will be a series of phone numbers. You could phone those phone numbers till you don't hold your breath or you'll die, because nobody will pick them up. So why are they even bothering to put those phone numbers on those letters?
You know, and there's something that I've realized, I mean, not only in the Gambia, but in Africa in general. Mr. Ade, if you are head of an institution, maybe you are head of QTV or head of GRTS or head of any other TV station, I think, Mr. Ade, if I want to talk to you, it should be very easy, because you're working for the general public. You know, it's easy, but it's difficult to call a director, to call a manager, to call a minister and get the person.
Look, Balde, when this recent incident happened in Fonyi, asked Mr. Ade, it took us days before we were able to, you know, get hold of any official that we can talk to. And that's serious. You see, the more you shy away from the media when things happen, the more room you create for speculation, the more trouble you create for yourself as well. You have to be in charge when things happen. Because sadly here, I mean,
it's difficult.
When there's a lack of information, people fill the gaps, and they fill the gaps with rumor, and those rumors circulate and they become the truth, even when they're not the truth. And government departments and government agencies can't afford to step back and just let it rumble on. They need to intervene. They need to intervene.
Well, and we will also acknowledge the efforts of the Gambia Police Force, because Mr. Njai is always available when needed. For him, the Gambia Police Force, I respect them for that. I mean,
and even the Army PRO.
And Army PRO.
Very, in fact, I can tell you,
they are available anytime you want them.
These two really, they're always available to talk to you, especially the Army PRO. You call him at any time, he would pick. Even in the middle of the night, he'll pick.
I can vouch for that, absolutely.
And the fire service as well.
Exactly. Fire service. Exactly. We almost forgot about them. Well, I think this is a collective responsibility. Certain things, if you don't do them, you are going to cost our country a whole lot of deal. I mean, and this is what we want to discourage. I think we all have to work together in such a way that, I mean, it's going to benefit our country, you know. But I mean, other attitudes are a problem. So can we move on?
So we move on now. Jammeh-backed witch hunt claims more than 40 lives, devastates others. I've heard these stories.
Yes, I mean that newspaper is going through. They're going through all the TRRC
again
revelations.
and you have talking about Jammeh, Solbaji, and 2 others released as well.
Well, that's right. The Solbaji one was an interesting one, of course. I mean, it happened last week, so I don't know why it's appearing
again
this week. But it's an interesting one because the government wanted them to be held for 90 days whilst they did an investigation. The thing is, do your investigation, then you arrest them and charge them, if that's what you want to do.
I think the law is very clear on that.
The law, you know, even if somebody has been accused of the most heinous crime, the law still says, do your investigation, then you charge them with that crime.
Because you can't detain them beyond 72 hours.
Well, that's right.
Without charging.
Without charging. But you then want to extend 90 days is quite like 3 months. And then, you know, so in the interest of natural justice, of course, it was inevitable that the court would say, no, release them. And when you have your charges, you can press charges if you want. And as the court says very pointedly, just because somebody has been accused very, very severely in the TRRC, it doesn't make them guilty.
Exactly. You have to prove them guilty.
You have to prove them guilty in a court. And if that's the evidence you want to use, fine. And if those are the witnesses you want to use for your case, fine. Do that, but don't hold them and then ask us, oh, allow me please to hold them for 90 days. So it was inevitable that they would be released.
Well, okay, it's good that at least our justice system is this way. I mean, it's different from many years ago. Mr. Ade, let's talk about our investigation mode in the Gambia, the process of investigation. Many cases are still under investigation to no avail in this country.
It takes ages.
We have seen cases of murder. We have seen cases of rape. We've seen a whole lot of stuff. Still now, there is nothing that comes out of it.
You remember the Busumbala girl who was gruesomely murdered?
The St. Peter's student.
Still
now.
We haven't heard anything.
That's right. I mean, I think the police will talk about lack of resources, lack of forensic resources. They have lots of challenges, and that's something I think they have to admit. You know, so when crimes happen, they don't have the same facilities that other countries, sorry to use the term, more advanced nations in terms of resources have. And so you end up with these cases that just drag on forever and ever. And it's sad because, you know, the families of victims, they want closure and they want the truth. And if somebody has been responsible for killing a relative of theirs, they want that person brought to justice. And so the longer that goes on unsolved or unattended to, the longer their agony goes on. So, you know, I'm not sure what can be done about it because, you know, as I said, they are under-resourced.
I think the police, I mean, especially our security, you know, it's one area that really needs to be looked at. And I think when we do our next budget, it's good that, you know, they're given, I mean, at least something that could, you know, I know we can't have enough because it's a problem, as we are one country that really struggle with resources, but at least, you know, maybe we have to review the budget that we allocate to our security outfits.
Exactly, especially that area, it's very important, the security. I mean, these are people that should be looked after, you know, especially because if you looked after them, you are looking after the country. If they have, I remember we have our immigration department complaining of porous border posts and, you know, the whole lot of activities they do, but certain things they are limited because of certain resources they cannot access. So people patrolling our border becomes a problem.
Yeah, I mean, what I would like to see, I mean, I think COVID gave us the signal and it taught us a lesson. During COVID, nobody traveled, so all meetings were held virtually. What I would like to see is when the new cabinet is announced, the president also announces that for the next 12 months, none of us is going to travel out of the country. If we have to attend a meeting, we will attend it virtually. And all the funding that we would have used for that travel, we will put to something like Border Patrol or something. That would be a bold statement, and it would be significant.
Have
I
you
don't
seen
think
the-
it's going to happen.
Have you seen
but,
the expenditure?
look, that's why I
for last year?
mentioned it. That's why I mentioned it, because if that expenditure was diverted
Unbelievable.
elsewhere, it would make a huge difference.
Yeah.
And so throw the challenge to His Excellency the
And
President.
do you know, interestingly, there are departments that create their own going up, coming down, I mean, trek, I mean, or leaving the country just to get some money. Even if what they're going to do there, it's not very important.
There's a travel cost, there's a
per
per
diem
diem. There's a travel cost, there's a per diem, there's the hotel fees and so on. Trust me, save on all of that and say, you know what, we're going to partner with GSM companies and we will do everything via Zoom. Don't care if it's in Addis Ababa or it's in Lome or Abuja. We'll join it virtually and just cut that out. And that will be a bold statement. It will show that you care and that you're doing something, because you can still join the meeting. You don't have to be there physically. COVID taught us that. So why don't we go back to that?
We can still do it. I mean, to cut cost, we need to be very serious when it comes to these things.
And I don't think we are.
But who's going to take that bold step to
That's
do
what
that?
I said. It's a bold step, but there are pressures for it not to happen. But somebody needs to be bold and make a bold statement by saying, we're going to do this, and we're going to show that we care. We care about our people, and we care about where funding should go. And for me, funding going on traveling and so on, I keep repeating, COVID taught us that you can have virtual meetings and the world will still spin round.
Exactly. And Sumana Iso, any other thing?
Yeah, so Higher Education Ministry to transform Gambia College to Teacher Education University.
Yes, so I presume, well, not presume, those who go there will then emerge with teacher degrees.
Teacher degrees.
Degrees in teaching, which is good. But for me, university for the sake of university is not good. We have to interrogate the quality of the instruction that they will be given. Will it be of university standard? That will be a kind of universal university standard, and that will be the question. And of course it can happen, but I think just saying it's going to be a university isn't enough. But it's a good step, because it means somebody doesn't say, oh, I want a teaching degree but I have to go somewhere else outside of the country to get it. So maybe we need to import people who we already have them, who knows, because we know that there are Gambians of immense ability spread across the world, and the world is benefiting from them and Gambia isn't. So maybe some of those people can come back here and can be involved in the instruction in terms of lecturing and examination at that university. It's a good step.
Thank you, Mr. Ade. Thank you very much for coming on this platform. Interesting newspaper review. And of course, it's always good to have Mr. Ade here.
I must correct you. When you were doing the rundown, you told our viewers that Buba Fati will be coming to do Click. I think it's Skengman Sweezy.
Oh, Skengman Sweezy is the one coming. Exactly. Thank you for that rectification. Well, viewers, thank you very much. And of course, we'll take a short break. After the break, we'll talk about price control. I mean, it will be very interesting. I know it's not a phoning-in program, but I mean, most people will love to call. I mean, and ask certain questions.
It's a hot topic.
Yes, we'll be having Babukar MCC, and of course, Malik Jallo, young economist. We'll be coming back soon. Stay tuned.
That's a hot topic.
Want it? Order for it and pay quickly using QuickPay on the QMoney platform. With great technology comes ease and convenience. Get a glimpse of what a comfortable life is with QMoney by dialing *323# now. Call 133 for more information. QMoney, Sunyu Kalpe.
I am the light goddess. Everything Everything I touch turns into light. I am the light at the end of the tunnel, and my technology is the answer. I am the happiness in your life. I keep you connected, and I am Q Power. I am QCell. I am Sunibus. We innovate, others follow. Call 111 for more information.
With so many things to do in a single day, it's important to have a network you can trust. When there's family and friends to connect with and business calls to make, you need a network that is reliable and fast. Talk longer, browse faster, go farther, and roam wider. When your network is solid, the world is your oyster. QCell, your trusted network in the Gambia.
nga noro tarale birin dunia be datila adaben na baluwo konole nsulata noro pour kanna dokuwol ke kanna bungol lo kanna fengol fi hanim fanan kanna kanunyol je noro ka kuol sone yandi woto QCell ya Q Power sanya kutole nati isela kas power sotono katabake anin yin QCell la yin code kuto ila dunia malandi anin yin star 363 has katabake hanna tara ibela suwokono ila ofisoko anin dulalo star 363 has kumandi sign Q Power ki la dunia mala malandi QCell sunyu boss ntolle nga silo walang dole mol noma.
Welcome back from that break. You're watching QTV this morning. I am Ibrahim Abalde. After a very interesting newspaper review, we are back again. Reminded the program is officially sponsored by One Stop Water Solutions. And of course, we also have Sultan Consulting as partners for all types of IT courses. I mean, IT is the new good now. Welcome back, Isu.
Thank you, Balde. We're happy to be back again after that short commercial break. So we're moving on to our next segment, I guess.
Exactly. And we'll be talking about price control and the economy. It is very important when you look at the country right now, not only Gambia, but Africa as a whole. There is a whole lot of price hike all the time. You hear, price of certain things have gone up. And, people complain a whole lot about it. And I can see on the newspaper review, drivers are complaining of fuel price control. And how appropriate is this? We have our guys in the studio. We have Bokar MC Say, and of course, Malik Jallo, young economist. Welcome, gentlemen, to this platform.
Thank you for having us.
Let's start with Malik. Can you tell us what you do? Okay, what you do. Is that Malik?
Yes.
The fuller man.
Come on. Okay, that's Malik. All right. Malik, let's start. Tell us what you do first.
All right. Thank you for having us here. I think the theme is very important because prices affect what we call purchasing power. The money that you have, or the amount of money you have, is defined in two ways. You have the nominal value, which is the amount written on the currency, 10, 20.
That's the denomination.
Yeah, that is the nominal value. And you have the real value. The real value is how much does that amount reflect in terms of prices. What can it get you? How much can it get you? And over the period, especially this time of pandemic, we have seen, like you mentioned, prices surge. And in so many countries around the world. First of all, I will start by saying it's a global phenomenon. And we have seen the COVID pandemic has, put strict issues on supply chains, constraint on supply chains, shipping lines. You have at some point ships getting stuck in the Suez Canal. So all these disrupt supply chains. And Gambia being a huge importer and dependent on the external economies in terms of commodity supply, we can be an exception. So a lot of people, consumers will want to hear government has control price, government has control price. Everybody wants that to happen. But the environment or the situation that leads to that, it's much more complex. Let's say if you're a supplier, you have to buy goods all the way from China. You have to pay shipping costs, and shipping costs has gone so much high that suppliers are being hurt. So you've already booked this before, and there is issues with shipping lines. There is delays, and especially there is so much cost you have to incur at the ports to clear the goods. If it is a Senegal, Forex is also involved. You have to buy Forex to pay for those goods coming in. So all these things compose the cost structure of your product. Now, after all these, you get it out. Now it's time for you to decide on the price. Of course, a rational producer or supplier will think of the cost that is incurred. And this eventually translates to price hike. You have to charge high so that you'll be able to make a margin to be able to continue in business. So this is why we've seen products in the Gambia have been going up, from food commodities, from basic clothing, even domestically, housing, renting, all those things are going up. That is one side. The other aspect is demand. We are a youthful population, 60% if not more, and we having more appetite to demand foreign goods. You want a better suit, I want a better shoe, and all this, and we need money to pay for it. So this demand for goods also puts another pressure, and these combined forces results into high prices. So when it comes to controlling, there are two ways you can control a price. You have the command strategy, where you just impose a price floor, which means the minimum a price can go, and a price ceiling, which is the highest. So in Gambia, in this case, we will prefer a price ceiling. That is, the price cannot go above this point. Yeah. So you have to look at the consequences. What is driving? If it is economic direction, if you take the economic strategy, it means government has to intervene somehow to reduce the price. Let's say, for instance, if government, just an assumption, if government wanted to reduce housing prices, renting, they start building house and give rent at lower than what the market is. That is an economic way. But if you put a price cap, it means you're trying to enact a law, sort of. And this causes disruption in the economy. One, there will be black marketing. People who will be willing to pay more than the government price will be meeting suppliers somewhere that government cannot trace. And Gambia is a hugely, informal economy. That's a huge part. That is going to cause disruption. And two, there's going to be scarcity in the commodity, of the commodity in the market. Suppliers will have, and they will hoard, because they expect, they will say, this is not the real price of the commodity, so I will not sell. Or I will choose who to sell and when to sell. So a well-intentioned policy has translated to more chaos in the market. So, yeah, I'm sure you want to say something.
Yes, so before Mr. Caesar comes in, maybe he would delve deep into some of the reasons for, some of the factors why prices are going up. You mentioned the COVID. It's certainly one of the factors that has greatly impacted the economy. But given this overview you've given us, if you were to talk about our economy now, what would you say is our current state? Are we doing fairly well, or what are some of the challenges as well?
Presently, we are not doing well. And if the trajectory remains the same, it's going to be, the prospect looks, it's going to be tough in the future. I was just discussing with Mr. outside. I told him that in the short term, right now, there's nothing we can do about this pricing. Why we cannot do much about the inflation? It's because import dependency. 32 billion of our 92% That is 32 billion imports on 2020 as per the statistics from GBOS indicates imports. And there's only 1 billion.
92%.
92% of the trade in 2020 is imports. And you export 1 billion. So which means every 1 unit of export you make, you are making 24, because the ratio of imports to exports is 24 times. Which means we're importing 24 times and only exporting once.
Wow.
So if the COVID is affecting those countries, the exporting sources, countries, then eventually this is what they call exogenous shocks. You cannot control it in the short term. In the long term, what we should do if to avoid or to minimize this, we will not avoid it because we are an open economy. To minimize this impact is to encourage production, create the environment for local production. Not all goods, but there are certain things, certain commodities that we should start producing. In this way, gradually, initially local farms will start to charge high because of the cost of establishment and all that stuff. But over the period, this cost is going to spread and prices will stabilize and consumers can have access to quality goods at cheaper prices. So that's why I said now we're not looking good. And if the trajectory remains the same, it's going to be tougher.
We hope not.
Yeah, we hope not.
Yes, Mr. Jallo, before we go to
Mr.
Sese, let's put this together to understand. For a layman will not understand, before a price goes up, all these things have to be involved. You will hear certain times people will complain the government is just increasing the price. I mean, there is no price control in this country. But how often do you people communicate this to the general public to let them know before a price increase, it has to start from stage 1 to where you are?
Thank you. I think that question is...
I think it's referring to the external factors.
Yeah, so, we have a major setback, especially when it comes to literacy, right? Sometimes I applaud the Ministry of Finance. They usually publish documents relating to trade and other, statistics in GBOS. So let me make it clear. I do not represent the government. So there's little I can say.
Yes.
So, but I think there should be a more clear communication channel, regular briefing, regular information.
Exactly.
That people, people should know what's actually going on. We are no more in a society or in a century where you just have to hide information. There's no point.
Well, okay, how often do you engage the government? I know you people are more into this consumer protection. How often do you communicate with the government?
No, I think Mr. Sise is in the consumer protection.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, I just want to know, because people are confused. I mean, sometimes you go see a product, I mean, the price you bought it few months ago, it changed. So we want to understand this. I'm talking from the concept of a layman who don't understand.
I think Mr. Sise will help me on that because he's working with the consumer protection.
Yes, Mr. Sise, you can comment.
Thank you, Mr. Walde. An insightful discussion from
Indeed.
As indicated, the GCCPC, which is the Gambia Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, is a government body. It's an agency of the government under the Ministry of Trade. We are responsible for ensuring that the economy is as liberal as possible, but consumers too are as protected as possible. By so doing, we've also been looking into the price of essential commodities, which as a competition authority or a competition commission, you need to do to be able to establish what are the factors responsible for the price increment. By so doing, you can be able to come up with, policies that can support other government agencies or ministries or departments, but also communicate to consumers to understand what is actually going on. So usually, if you in terms of price of commodities, it's influenced by numerous factors, but a few of which is either by government policy or by behavior of the business that's the player, or by behavior of a cost structure, which is both external and internal. So this we've been doing. I think, as I indicated before, on Friday I was here in Wolof, try to explain to people the factors that are responsible for this price hike.
Yeah. So let's look at some of these factors now.
Yes, we've been doing. We've picked about 4 main essential commodities which are mainly consumed within this country. That is, rice, sugar, vegetable oil, and chicken leg. We've checked to see how has it been before COVID, that is pre-COVID, and how is it now, and what are the factors responsible, or with, for the price hike, or what are the drivers to this price. If you look at, I will go back to data because that's what speaks, volume, and you can only back it by that. Before the COVID, for you to buy rice, as we always say, because Gambia, as he rightly said, we import almost everything. So you have to buy from outside, bring it to the ports of Banjul. Rice, international price of rice has been almost very steady. It is one commodity that has been steady in the international market. But if you come to the transportation, which is the freight, transporting it from either India or anywhere it is brought to the port of Banjul, that has been the main driver of this cost, and also our exchange rate. Taking the exchange rate, before COVID, on average, you will have $51 is 50 butut per dollar. As we speak, 53, 54. So before you even know, almost a $3 has been added without anything moving within the country, just by changing your dollar to a dollar. Wow. Now, that has, because of only the exchange rate effect, it has moved, the cost of a bag of rice from, 785 to 820, just the exchange rate effect, just by changing the money. But the biggest game changer, or the biggest effect, is the transportation cost. I will use layman so that everybody can understand what it means. For you to ship it from wherever you bought to the port of Banjul, before COVID, it was costing about $215 per bag. Now, as we speak, the last time we analyzed, it was $662. Wow. So it has moved from 215
to almost 4 something.
4 something. That is on the rise. Now, if you come to the sugar, we found the same thing. You look at the international price of sugar before, it was 1,150. But as we speak now, the international price of sugar, moving that the CIF is what you bought it for, you install your goods and what you transport, understand, so that people can understand in layman term. Now it has moved from 1,150 to 1,605 on average. So you could see there is a cost element that is pushing this price. You come to oil, which is cooking oil. There is a lot of cry or noise around that oil, which we acknowledge that the prices are going up. But these are the factors. Before, for you to have a 20-liter gallon of oil from outside the Gambia to the Gambia, it will cost you $743. Everything involved up to the port of Banjul. Now it's 1,605 on average. Wow. You understand? So the freight alone to transport a 20-liter gallon from wherever you pick it from to the port of Banjul, on average, before was $90 per gallon. Now it's on average of 280
per gallon.
Per gallon. So you could see the movement in that. The chicken, same. We found same thing on the chicken. For you to move a carton of chicken, in fact, the CIF everything, it was 340 to 345 on average before the COVID. But as it is, it's about 700, 705.
Interesting. Mr. Jallow, let's engage Mr. Jallow a bit. As a young economist, what should be done now?
Yeah.
Well, like I said initially, I like the statistics that Mr. Sisi just gave. You know, it's very important that decisions or discussions are guided by data.
Yeah.
And we need to have this kind of conversations frequently. So I started with the theory that it is the shipping cost that, and he broke it down for me, for us in terms of the data. So if you look at Gambia, the drivers of Gambia's economy is the service sector, which is mainly driven by wholesale and retail trading, and tourism.
Yeah.
Okay. He made mention of the exchange rate. Right now, the country is constrained with exchange rate. There's no scarcity of dollar and other currencies. Wow. So the main supplies of exchange rate is remittance and tourism.
Yeah.
Now, these also are affected by exogenous shocks. If my brother abroad is not working anymore, my uncle is not working anymore, or because of COVID there's a shutdown, there's no work, he doesn't get paid. I don't get the usual amount that I used to get, right? Or sometimes I don't get it at all. And then that money doesn't come in, it means the banks do not receive it.
Yeah.
The banks do not receive it, it means it cannot translate here into, FX will not be here, that money will be absent.
Yeah.
Somebody demanding, that demand that could have met by that supply of my brother's remittance could not have it. And then what happens to the price of the currency? Goes up.
It goes up, yeah.
And in addition, our reserves at the central bank, because when you do international trade, if you export, you are selling to the world. There's something we call the balance of payment. The balance of payment is like an account that shows what a country trades with the external world. How much did you buy from the external world? How much did you sell to them? And through that trade, you generate foreign currency, which the central bank keeps, called reserve. In case there is this kind of issue, they need to pump in money, or they have commitments that government needs to meet. Yeah. So we have two sources, or two main sources of supply of FX. Remittance, tourism, and they're all exogenous factors. If there is problem in the most of our tourists come from Scandinavia and Europe.
Yeah.
If there's huge lockdowns and uncertainty about the health situations here, they will not come. Which means the money that they would have pumped in hotels and hotels exchanging, that money too is not coming. Right? So these create constraints, and there's no FX in the market. So we need to create a third engine of growth. The third engine of growth is my fundamental belief that is the only way we can turn around the situation, is we must start producing. A country that doesn't produce, Paris, you are so exposed to whatsoever happened to the neighborhood in Senegal here. Right now, Mali is suffering because there is a border closure because of ECOWAS sanctions. Sugar cannot get into Mali. Right? So at this juncture, like Mr. just asked, what can we do? In the short run, there is little we can do, given our exposure. There's little we can do to change the circumstances. Where is government policy intervention? Because what happens, government policy intervention, takes a longer time. These are called structural changes. Structural changes do not have, how do they call it? Immediate effect. It takes time before the impact comes in. But to strengthen the economy for the long term or the near future, we need to have a third engine of growth, which is production. Now, somebody told me it's difficult to invest in Gambia. The period for processing documentation, the taxes, the supply of electricity and water. I agree, because these are the fundamentals of the economy that has been ignored since 50 years, since independence. If you're building a house, you cannot just start from the ceiling. What is going to hold you to the ground?
The foundation.
The foundation. Infrastructure, water supply, energy. Energy is a key backbone of the economy. So we need to set these priorities right. We need to encourage all our brothers that are abroad sending money for consumption. Let us bring in incentives that is going to change their habit. Okay, you have been sending so much money, remittances, and it's just on consumption. Why don't you create a package, investment package, that allow you easy access to land, that government provide credit facilities, so that you can have access to money if you want to start business. Easy documentation process. In Rwanda, sometimes 1 week or 5 days or 3 days, you even get your business registered. Reduction of bureaucracy in all those processes. Somebody out there will say, okay, how will government get the money to create all these? We have financial institutions. Government should not borrow all this money to do it. We have we have banks. Okay, we need to put them into the picture. We need to bring them in. Invest in this, have arrangement, have investment schemes, then this will translate in 10, 20, 15 years like I said, for now, there's little we can do.
I think you've made a very salient point there, Mr. Jallo. I mean, we need to start producing, because importing at 92%, that's a huge gap, really, for a small nation like ours. So it's like we are at the mercy of external factors.
And what I didn't mention is that out of the 1 billion that we export, the chunk of it is re-export. It's not even original export.
Wow.
There's difference between re-export and original. Original export is what you produce and sell. The origin, the country of origin is going to be Gambia.
But so in other words, we're barely in fact.
Yeah, so exactly. So what happens is these goods come through, and then when they come, they're repackaged a little bit and then sent to Guinea-Bissau and other countries. Wow. But you know what? We're even losing that competitive advantage because Senegal has expanded their ports.
Yes.
Massive technology, massive development. How many times? What is the turnaround at the GPA? You know, Mr. Cisse mentioned all the costs, but at the ports too, to clear.
Yeah.
There's another component there. There's another component. Yeah. So Senegal is quick, faster, getting more technology, and that competitive advantage we used to have in the 2000s. When I was still going to primary school at Farafenni, Senegalese used to come to Farafenni to buy sugar and take it and other things.
Now it's the other way around.
Now it's more because we are more dependent, given to the circumstances.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, okay, before you talk to Mr. Cisse, let's, Mr. Jallo, where did you see Gambia? Which direction are we going when it comes to our economy? As you mentioned, Gambia, most of these things are imported. What will happen to us in years to come if nothing is done?
Well, if the trajectory remains the same, we're going to have, because economic progress is measured by GDP growth. So GDP in Gambia have not been sustained. What I mean sustained growth is, let's say for instance, China grew 10% for 3 decades. And over that period, 300 million people were pulled out of poverty. Rwanda grew somewhere 7 to 8% for a consistent period of time. In Gambia, we have not experienced that. But what we experience is a consistent population growth, 3% on average. So what this is going to cause if things remains the same? Robbery.
So crime will go up.
Crime rate goes up. Rural, urban migration, traffic congestion, unemployment.
I think we're experiencing some of these things already.
They are already here. So what I'm trying to say is, it's at a more heightened level. You know, at a more heightened level, it's going to be like you walk daylight in the afternoon or in the hot sun, somebody's just going to come and, threaten you and take your stuff. At a more alarming, you can see traffic congestion already. If I do not wake up 5 to get set for work, I will not make it on time.
Yeah, exactly. I'm surprised to see people leaving very early in the morning. And I'm receiving a message from one of our economists here, Lamin Sow. You know, Lamin is interested whenever you talk about the economy of the Gambia.
He's a full man.
Sometimes, yes, this guy, I mean, he will tell me things that I don't even understand when it comes to the economy. I'll be like, economists, you people are tight-fisted. I mean, they get wall. You know, Lamin Sow, we are sending greetings to you. And yes.
So, yes, Mr. Cisse, what can be done to address this situation now? We've heard from Mr. Jallo as well.
Yes, I think Mr. Jallo has outlined very good. Very well. What we need to do is, as a country, we already have the demographic dividend. It's a matter of seeing the advantage that we have. It's a youthful population, as he rightly said. One thing we've maintained as a constant is the population growth, which is against, the GDP. So what you need is now turn that population growth into a usable force, because all the analysis is given is we are operating at a very inefficient level as a country. So let's utilize the youthful population we have. I frequently said this. I said, if you look at Gambia in the position of Senegambia, if I'm allowed to use that, it's like God has carved out the best part and give it to the Gambia in terms of the land we have, in terms of even the air, the water you have. So how do we utilize this? As a country, that's a fact. There is no other back way to it. The country has to start producing. Because the lockdown has taught everybody a lesson on the way out, that you cannot depend on outside. Because if everything you consume in a country is imported, a little shock will kill you. I can tell you, look at our airport, the way it is. The Gambia has no domestic flight. A shutdown from outside, we don't need to shut down. We won't exist. So this is where the country is. But coming to the topic itself, one thing that I will not advise to be done, I know there is a lot of outcry over there, is a price control. I won't advise for that to be. Because the reality is, having gone through the cost structure, what we've seen is a cost-driven price hike. Now, in a cost-driven price hike, Malik has stated it in his introduction. You want to now control the price. What do? All that you are encouraging is shortage. On paper, you can have a price that everybody will clap for you. But in reality, you won't even see the goods.
I think we've had, a
that's
good
the
example
fact.
would be our transport system.
Yeah. I think we are good at paper.
But no, even if you say you want because you are creating how do I call it, scarcity. In 2015, almost same time, it happened. That one too. In fact, when I was taking the data, I said, you see, God, I think it's high time as policymakers we make reference to the past. It teaches us a lot. 2015, similar thing happened. Around same time, towards May, the exchange rate for a dollar to dollar C was $54. What the government then did was, because people have to understand that price is not the enemy. Price, in fact, is the best tool for any economist. Yes. There is no, just as I said, doctors need to help me here. I cannot believe that there is a sickness called headache. No, whenever you see a headache, there is something wrong with your system. It's a symptom of something being wrong in your system. Price hike, there is no problem called price hike. Anytime you see a price hike, it's signaling an economic problem. Because your market serves as your dashboard. All the economic policies you are playing, they are showcased at the market. There you will know whether your policy is working in the right direction or in the wrong direction. If you ignore it, there is a variable called price that will come to alert you that your policies are not working. Now, do you now kill the messenger or listen to the message? Price is a message. That's an interesting one. Exactly, seriously, anytime you see a price hike, it's a message from your economy. The structure that there is something wrong, correct it. If you do not correct it, it will crash your economy. In 2015, as I was saying, when this happened, what the government did then was, they said the best thing to do is, let's peg the exchange rate. When I heard that, I said, I'm giving them up. If they survive it for more than 7 months, then I can know they're good. It's going to crash because the price of essential commodities are telling you there is something wrong with your system. Can we work on the policy? You said, no, I know what to do. I am pegging the exchange rate. One day, the president just announced, I am moving the dollar from 54 to 35, 45 with no economic, policy.
Support.
Just dragging it out. Price are powerful than us.
Exactly.
Unless we correct the fundamental issues that are affecting them, if you control, what you're going to do is you are going to mess up more.
Thank you, Babakar MCC. You're making sense there. Mr. Jallo, thank you very much for coming. Your show name is not a good one.
It's been an interesting discussion, really.
I wish that would have been the best. Well, but it's good that we have young men, who are at this level, trying to change things, trying to make things work.
Especially for Mr. Jallo, I have to say I'm really, really impressed.
Yes, thank you very much for coming on this platform. I know this wouldn't be the last time here, inshallah. We'll be inviting you again and engaging you on these things. Well, viewers, that's what we have on social issues. And of course, next is the Click segment. We'll be having Buba Skengman here featuring Lady Lena. We'll be right back after the break.
nga jot sa xaalis si num gën a gaawee te yobba léegi ak Ria mun ngaa jot sa xaalis bàyyeekoo sa bitim réew si sa Q Money te doo si fay dara boo jotee ab xibaar si sa téléphone bi ne jot nga koppar bu bàyyeekoo sa bitim réew mun ngaa dem seet Q Money agent bu la gën a jege jot sa xaalis te doo si fay dara bu la neexee mun nga koo jëndee crédit Q Power wala jëfandikoo ak yeneen Q Money service yi gaaw na wóor na te noppale na pour am si lu la wóor woo ñu si 133 Q Money suñu kalpe lii dafa ànd
nga noro tarale birin duniya be datila ada ben na baluwo konole nsulata norol pour kanna dokuwol ke kanna bungol lo kanna fengol fi hanim fanan kanna kanunyol je noro ka kuwol sone yande woto kiwsel ye kiw pawa sanya kutole nati isela kas pawa sotono katabake anin nyin kiwsel la nyin kot kuto ila dunia malandi anin nyin star 363 has katabake hanna tara ibela suwo kono ila ofiso ko anin dulalo star 363 has kumandi sai kiw pawa kiela dunia mala malandi kiwsel suñu bos ntolle nga silo walang dole mol noma
I am the light goddess. Everything I touch turns into light. I am the light at the end of the tunnel, and my technology is the answer. I am the happiness in your life. I keep you connected, and I am Q Power. I am QCell. I am Sunyabos. We innovate, others follow. Call 111 for more information.
With so many things to do in a single day, it's important to have a network you can trust. When there's family and friends to connect with and business calls to make, you need a network that is reliable and fast. Talk longer, browse faster, go farther, and roam wider. When your network is solid, the world is your oyster. QCell, your trusted network in the Gambia.
Begin your SUV life. S-Pass Motors, the new authorized dealer for Kia. Visit us today or call us on 3522-222, 353-2222.
Want it? Order for it and pay quickly using Quick Pay on the Q Money platform. With great technology comes ease and convenience. Get a glimpse of what a comfortable life is with Q Money by dialing star 323 hash now. Call 133 for more information. Q Money, Sunyu Kalpe.
danga bëgg a jot sa xaalis si num gën a gaawee te yobba léegi ak Ria mun ngaa jot sa xaalis bàyyeekoo sa bitim réew si sa kiw money te doo si fay dara boo jotee ab xibaar si sa téléphone bi ne jot nga koppar bu bàyyeekoo sa bitim réew mun ngaa dem seet kiw money agent bu la gën a jege jot sa xaalis te doo si fay dara bu la neexee mun nga koo jëndee crédit.
Welcome back from that break, and of course, interesting interaction out there with our people.
Yeah,
the young economy.
I enjoyed the discussion.
And Babukar MC say. I mean, very interesting. And now we'll move straight to the click segment. And we have Skengman Swizi. Mr. Ade Mune. I should not say Buba Fati. I should say Skengman Swizi.
Or maybe
obviously you should say Squeezy Lizzy.
Yeah,
Squeezy Lizzy. Mr. Car. Squeezy Lizzy.
Oh yeah.
Exactly. And
some boy will have Tuki. Mr. Car.
Mr. Car and Edumine Skensman Swizi.
Welcome back, man. You look drip, man.
Good morning, guys. You know I'm always on drip, man.
Yeah.
Always on drip, man. Drip blood. Good morning, guys. I'm Skengman Swizi, and this is the click segment. And I have an amazing guest for you guys today, man. Lady Lena in the building. Wagwan.
Yeah, I'm a good. Give thanks. How are you doing?
You look fly, man.
Thank
I
you.
love the color, though.
Thank you.
You know, the nails and my outfit kind of pink thing, you know. So, Lena, let's talk about you, your music career. It's been a long way for you.
Yeah.
I know you since school days. We used to be in the same class together. Exactly. So you see, she was doing music by then. So let's talk about your music career. What really inspired you to go into music?
Like, I can't really say there is this specific inspiration. There was this one time when I was literally very young, like 11 years old. And then there was this, so I went to my father's village for a holiday. And then there was this, so a lot of Gambian artists invited and all of that. And then they were performing, and there was this artist called, is it Guraj? I don't know. Actually, I can't remember his name. And he was like, can I have one person from this village to sing? I'm like, my sister pushed me in front. I was like, looking back, like, who? Me? And then like, he gave me the mic, and then they play a beat for me, and I start flow. I can't literally say what I was singing. I don't even remember, but it was sick, and everybody started jumping. I was like, like smiling that way. Exactly. And then the next day he linked me. He was like, you're a good singer. You have a good voice. Why don't you sing? And then literally I started like that. And when I'm at school, during break time, I used to be singing, and there would be a lot of people in my class. Yeah. During break, people would come over just to watch me perform. And then I'm like, you know what? I got to do this. But, you know, the problem was like, my uncle was like, you have to focus on your school and all of that. But yeah, that's how I come true.
And you focus on the school, you get the papers, and now
you know what I mean?
Still doing it, man. Now let's talk about your genre of music. You're doing dancehall reggae.
Yeah.
Sometimes R&B and Afrobeat as well, you know? But it's like you more focused on the dancehall and reggae thing, sort of, you know?
Yeah.
How is it going for you in the industry right now? You know, we all know Afrobeat is the thing out there. People are vibing to it as well. Yeah. What is it like you doing dancehall and reggae?
It's like the most difficult challenge in Gambia, you know? Because when I started music, first I was singing, you know, kind of like R&B kind of thing. Yeah. And then I started doing dancehall. You know what I mean? And I'm like, dancehall is hard, people feel it, but I don't actually think people listen to it. Yeah. They only listen to foreign Jamaican music, you know what I mean? But actually Gambian dancehall artists is not literally people, those are not the people listen to down in Gambia. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, let me see a little bit. Because when you're doing dancehall, sometimes you feel some type of reggae, you know what I mean? I love reggae because it's the thing I can listen to and relax, you know what I mean? So I'm like, let me do some of reggae too and see if people gonna feel it. And then I did reggae, and it's like when I'm on stage they feel it, you know what I mean? It's like, but then after the stage you don't listen to it.
Exactly.
You know
what I mean? It's just a one-time thing.
So I'm like, exactly. And I'm like, Gambian people love reggae, and I see Gambia as a small Jamaica. And then, but then still they don't support Gambian reggae dancehall artists. Yeah. It's hard for us. So basically I see some people and they're like, I think you should do a little bit of Afro. I got some Afro songs that are in the studio, not yet out, but I just want to take my time because I'm still a reggae dancehall artist, but I'll be doing different kind of music.
You've been a female artist in the industry. What is your connection like with other Gambian artists as well? Because I know it's...
You don't want me to talk about that?
Yeah,
like,
we
bro,
should
that's
talk
the
about
most sickest thing and the most biggest challenge, being a female artist.
Yeah.
Towards this main artist, towards these promoters, towards these DJs. You know what I mean? It's the most hardest thing as a female artist. Because me alone, they said I'm stubborn. You know, way back at school, I'm very stubborn. Man. I like them kind of outfits and all of them things. I could have wear them.
You know, I'm surprised seeing you looking like this, you know.
Yeah, but when it comes to the stage side, I like being like this. Because I don't want anybody to just look at me like, yo, she's sexy. Yeah, I'm sexy, sweetheart, but not for you. You know?
Again,
no, to be honest, like most of these promoters out here will talk to me about, I'll be honest, talk to me about love. And you know me, my answer is no. I don't love.
Keeping it real,
I love, but I don't love you, you know, literally. And it's like most of them people, when I tell them no, when they have a show going on, I'm not on it.
You silent.
And then when people ask me why, what do you want me to tell them? Oh, he asked me out and I said no.
I want you to introduce your music video that you dropped. The music video.
Hey, Blind Love?
Blind Love, man.
Oh my God, that was a...
introduce it to the fans out there.
Okay, guys, like Blind Love, it's a true story. It's something I've been through, you know what I mean? I was in love with this guy, you know, but you know, it's like a one-side love.
Let's watch it and come back. Blind Love, let Lena.
It's vibes, baby. On me. Are you serious? It's vibes to you, baby. Hey, blind love, blind love, blind love. Say, tell the man say this a blind love. Blind love, blind love, blind love. Tell the man say this a blind love. Hey, blind love, blind love, blind love. Hey, tell the man say this a blind love. Blind love, blind love, blind love. Tell the man say this a blind love. Yeah, contradiction, love and emotions. This is pushing, need no perfection. Love you to miss and no need to mention. Right now, miss a need no connection. Hold me tight, miss a need no protection. Loving you, miss a is obligation. Tell me now if you need indication. Delegation, no limitation. Motivation, no separation. Situation, give me meditation. Recreation, go on vacation. Corruption, we don't need corruption. We don't need corruption. We don't need corruption. Hey, blind love, blind love, blind love. Say, tell the man say this a blind love. Blind love, blind love, blind love. Tell the man say this a blind love.
I love the song, man. I love the song, man.
Thank you.
And you know, I saw YD on the video.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the video, man. The concept, the song. It's nice, man.
Thank you. Like the concept was built by Ablai Jaju, Senatrix Media. Yeah.
Respect, bro.
Yeah, thank you so much for the beautiful idea. And I told him the things I like. I like being simple. I like them flower things, you know. And he was like, yeah, let's make a cute idea. Basically, I was like, no, it's your job. Do it. And then he did it and I love it.
And I love the creativity as well. The artwork, everything is
just
really
hairstyle,
amazing, you know?
and all of them things. They was like, you need to look like an African goddess at some part. And the hairstyle was done by Sayo. It's like Nyancho's brother.
Yeah.
Sayo, he did my hairstyle and I was literally
now,
like an
let's
African
talk about
goddess.
Lady Linear and your project that you're working on. We all know you're working on something big. Let's talk about it, man.
Yeah, I'm working on a project. I want to have my management is like, let's drop an EP because I'm not in it. I remember like 2019 I dropped an EP.
Exactly.
Yeah, Mutual Vibe. So he was like, let's drop another EP. I'm like, why don't you think of an album? He's like, yeah, let's build this EP first and then the album. I was like, okay, I'm down for it. So it's like basically more about Afro dancehall songs, you know. Yeah. And then I literally have Attack on it already. And then I'm gonna have Young Apes. And then probably I want to have some female artists on it too.
Man, you should.
Yeah, we ladies, you know, we do a ladies thing and all of them thing. And I want to have Hussein Dada on it too. We spoke about it. He's a cool nigga and he was down for it. You know what I mean?
Any question for Lena? Yes, Kelman. I mean, Lena, you're doing dancehall. I mean, I'm a dancehall fan, like hands down. For me, it's my thing. Yeah. But we have some very good dancehall artists as well. Some who've been in the field for quite a while. Yeah. You know, the Sophia's, the Lady Queenses, and Tanga Chamas, all these other artists as well. Yeah. Are you, in any way in contact with these people as well? Are you working with them? Do you have any plans to work with them as well? The ENCs, all of those people within the dancehall scene as well.
Yeah. For ENC, I call him Dada, so he always tell me, come true. Yeah. But I don't go through. So, but then Tanga Chama, me and Tanga Chama has a song together. And the video is part and it's like Bad Girl and Road Girl. For Sophia, that was the time we're supposed to have a song together on the Mutual Vibe.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But then she was like up and down and all of them things. I couldn't have her. And then for Lady Quincy, like me and her talk and all of them things, we vibe. When it comes to female artists, I talk with them. Yeah. But I can't literally say we are close friends. But yeah. We're all in the same scene, so we talk sometimes.
You guys should. Yeah, and you know. secondly as well, we've seen a lot of dancehall artists, like female dancehall artists, just come into the industry, 1-2 songs, and then they're off the limit as well. But how would you rate yourself from 1 to 10 as a dancehall artist in the music industry as of now?
I'm gonna, obviously I'm going for the 10. Nigga, I'm voting for myself. What are you talking about? Obviously I'm going for the 10. Like, things like that happen because of this kind of things I'm telling you, like people that trying to drain your energy down. Exactly, yeah. Because you trying to make it out here, you trying to do some music, and then you need some support because no man stands alone. But then the people that's supposed to give you the support are the people that are talking to you about love, and that's discouraging. Yeah. When you are that female artist that you are not strong like me, like I'm a strong black woman. If you're not strong like me and you go in for them, and then there's a breakup and all of that, that's where there's misunderstanding and it drains your energy.
It's a message to all the music promoters out there.
It's not only the promoters, even the artists.
The artists, don't take advantage of all of our female artists.
I'm not like that, but
she's my baby though.
Guys, okay, we've come to the end of the program.
I'm saying bye-bye, but before I take a leave of you, Eliza, my outfit, man. Don't be jealous, man.
Come on, from bottom to top.
Exactly.
You know what, guys? We've run out of time, man.
My shot is provided by Big Sang and Sisters. You can call him on 397-3856. Call Big Sang, is gonna get you something like this, man. And my shoe, my sneakers, my Air Force.
Man!
Drip again, man. Call my brother on 335-8835. He's gonna get you something like this. Trust me, man. It's the morning show and it's about to get lit. It's gonna get lit every day. For my end, I'm saying bye-bye.
Man, see me on Thursday. Billahi wallahi, I'm dripping.
Huh?
We're dripping on Thursday. We're dripping on Thursday. Well, viewers, we've come to the end of the program, and I'm wishing Lady Lena a very good luck.
Exactly, she deserves
it. Until we come here again tomorrow, bye-bye.
Adama bu ne yelloo na ndox mu set te ndox mu set dafa bokk ci dunni doomu aadama te biir kat amul seetu waral na lépp lu fay dugg dafa war a doon li nga xamante ne ni lu indil doomu aadama bi loraange ci wàllu wér-gu yaram One Stop Water Solution Limited ñu ngi fii ci biir réew taxaw temm fexe pour gis ne doomu aadama bu ne di nga naan ndox moo xamante ne ni ndex mu sell te wóor la ndax indil nañ leen ay xeetu filtres yi nga xamante ne ni mun ngeen koy jëfandikoo ci seeni pompe yi ci biir réew moo xam booxool ngay jëfandikoo wala pompe nawek yi bépp xeetu filtre bi nga xamante ne ni dina la indil wér gu yaram musal la ci loraange amal nañ leen ko ci biir réew am nañ 10-inch filter set of 3 bii nag ñett lay àndal bu ci ne ak li muy liggéey bokk na ci 5 micron pp sediment filter bii nag mooy segg ndox mi ba mu set génne fa lépp li nga xamante ne ni warta ànd ak ndox moomu bala nga koy jëfandikoo gat granule carbon filter bii nag mooy segg génne lépp lu xeetoog chemical ak organique yi nga xamante ne ñoom ñoo nekk ci biir ndox mi sellal ndox mi ba waral mu soppi li nga xamante ne moom la ndox mi di saf mu soppi cafin gi def ko ndox mu sell te óor CTO block carbon filter